This is an ABC podcast.
This is Pacific Beach on ABC Radio Australia. The gay community in Fiji believes the recent alleged murder of a young person in Suva was a hate crime. Akuila Salavuki's body was found on the city's foreshore in May with massive head injuries. A friend believes Akuila, who identified as transgender, was murdered because of their sexual orientation. They've accused Fiji police of not taking the case seriously, as Liam Fox reports.
By all accounts, Akuila Salavuki was a loved and loving young man. Nicknamed Lucky, he's been described as someone who would always find a way to put a smile on other people's faces. The scores of friends and relatives who gathered for his funeral in late May were devastated by his death. The 23-year-old was studying a commerce degree, and next year he was due to become the first university graduate in his family. He was a popular member of the youth wing of the Social Democratic Liberal Party. 2 years ago, Salavuki was crowned King of the Northern Crime Prevention Carnival. In his acceptance speech, he said he wanted to raise awareness of youth suicide and encourage young people to value their lives. But all of his potential was cut short sometime on the night of the 17th of May. According to local reports, Salavuki's body was found on the Suva foreshore, not far from the nightclub where he was last seen, lying in a pool of blood. He'd suffered massive head injuries.
It was brutal. It was really devastating for the community.
Sulique Waqa is the creative director of the transgender rights group House of Khameleon.
Oh, Lucky was really outgoing. Lucky was a happy person. Lucky was so excited about contributing to the conversations around LGBT protection in Fiji, and for us to hear later that Lucky was murdered because of the very fact that she was trans and she was targeted. It was really sad, but Lucky was loved.
Compounding the devastation felt by his friends in the gay community was the fact Salavuki was murdered on the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphopia. Ms. Waqa says she has no doubt he was killed because of his sexual orientation.
We know definitely that the murder of Lucky is a result of a hate crime, because we're talking about an individual who was open about their preferred gender identity, sexual orientation and expression. So Lucky is a person who's identified as a transgender woman, and also because of the visibility of her lifestyle and her gender identity as a transgender woman, that leaves her more vulnerable to being picked and susceptible to violence.
Salavuki is the second gay man to have been murdered in Fiji in the last 12 months. In September last year, the mutilated body of 21-year-old fellow university student Josefo Magnus was found in a cassava patch in Nasinu, just north of Suva. No arrests have been made in relation to either case, and police have made few public comments about them. Ms. Waqa says there's a feeling in the gay community that police are not taking the cases seriously, and no one has confidence that those responsible will be brought to justice.
From what we've been hearing, as well as from personal lived experience, absolutely not. There is a lack of trust with the Fiji police force due to fear of discrimination, harassment and violence, which really discourages the LGBT people from working in collaboration with law enforcement, particularly with cases of hate crime.
Pacific Beat approached the Fiji police for a response and an update on the investigation into Salavuki's death, but there's been no response.
That's Liam Fox reporting there. Meanwhile...